Imagine you are drowning.
Right.
You are in the middle of a freezing ocean.
Your lungs are just totally burning. You are completely out of time.
Exactly. You have seconds left to live.
And suddenly, someone on a boat throws you a life preserver.
It lands right next to you.
Right.
It floats. It is perfectly intact. It will absolutely save your life.
But you just look at it.
Yeah.
You look at it and you see that it is the wrong color.
So you actively push it away.
Exactly. And you choose to drown.
Why in the world would anyone do that?
It makes no sense.
Right. When facing the absolute edge of existence, why would a human being make that choice?
That is exactly our mission today.
We are answering a question that just defies all common sense. It defies logic.
It completely defies biological instinct.
We are exploring this invisible force inside your brain. And this force completely controls your destiny.
Yeah, and this isn't just some, philosophical thought experiment.
Yeah.
We are diving into a really groundbreaking, massive research paper.
By Yale economist David Atkin.
Right. It's called The Caloric Costs of Culture.
And what he found, it forces us to question everything.
Everything we think we know about human survival.
Because this isn't just about food, is it?
No, not at all. It is about the absolute base code of human behavior.
You hear that drowning scenario and you think, well, not me.
Right, everyone thinks that.
If I am starving, I will eat anything. Survival just overrides everything else.
But Atkin's research mercilessly crushes that illusion.
It really does. It's a total face slap.
Why, when facing the very edge of starvation, would a poor person choose hunger?
Over a cheap, life-saving meal.
Exactly. Most people have a very simple, comfortable theory of poverty.
Yeah. They think poverty and starvation are simply a lack of resources.
Right. They think if someone is starving, it is purely because the environment failed them.
Or they just don't have the coins in their pocket to buy food.
That is the foundation of almost every modern economic theory.
We are taught that humans are basically rational, calculating machines.
Right. The theory goes that if you are desperately poor, you'll automatically buy the absolute cheapest calories available.
To keep your heart beating, you do the math.
You maximize your survival.
But the data proves this is a complete lie.
It is a lie. The real reason people starve often hides deep inside the human brain.
Economists usually assume we will trade anything to stay alive.
And the data shatters this completely.
Atkin's core thesis proves that when people are pushed to the brink of death,
They do not just act like survival machines.
they actively refuse cheap, life-saving calories.
It's exactly like the person drowning.
Refusing the life preserver because it's the wrong color.
It makes absolutely no sense.
If you are struggling to survive, and there is cheap food right in front of you,
And you choose not to eat it.
are you broken? Are you
Yep.
crazy?
You are neither broken nor crazy.
Okay.
You are simply acting upon a cultural programming.
You're programming so deep that it overrides the biological imperative to live.
Yes. And to really understand the terrifying power of this programming,
We have to look at a historical event.
where this exact scenario played out on a massive, deadly scale.
The 1943 Bengal famine.
Right.
It killed millions.
Yeah.
But the most terrifying detail wasn't the famine itself.
No. Between 1.5 and 4 million people died during that nightmare.
Just an unimaginable scale of death.
Entire villages were wiped out.
People were collapsing in the streets from severe malnutrition.
And in response to this unprecedented catastrophe, the government panicked.
Right, they mobilized.
They brought in massive, overwhelming supplies of wheat to save lives.
But the Bengalis were historically rice eaters.
Yeah.
So they refused it.
They absolutely refused it.
Wait, really?
The government shipped mountains of life-saving wheat and millet into the region,
They placed this food right in the local storehouses.
directly in front of the starving population.
And the Famine Inquiry Commission later investigated this, right?
Yeah, and their report is genuinely chilling to read.
Hold on, let me paint this picture for you, the listener.
What?
You are living through a famine. You are watching your neighbors die.
Right.
You are watching your own children waste away to skin and bones.
It's horrific.
There is a warehouse at the end of your street. It is packed to the ceiling with edible, life-saving wheat.
And you don't eat it.
Why would they throw their lives away?
Exactly.
Is an unfamiliar food really scarier than death?
To a rational machine, obviously not.
Right,
But
yeah.
to a human being, yes.
Wow.
The Famine Inquiry Commission documented that massive quantities of wheat literally rotted in the storehouses.
It just rotted while people starved.
It deteriorated entirely because of a lack of demand.
That is insane.
Countless people starved to death right outside the doors of warehouses filled with food.
Unbelievable.
The commission explicitly noted the massive reluctance of the rice-eating population to turn to alternative grains.
Even when the alternative was death.
The government begged them to eat the wheat.
Yeah.
The efforts met with almost zero success.
That is deeply disturbing.
It really is.
But it is also so easy for us to sit here in the modern world and judge them.
Oh, absolutely.
We tell ourselves, well, that was 1943.
It was a chaotic wartime environment.
People were terrified and confused. We are smarter now.
We have better information.
Right. But history is repeating itself.
The tragedy isn't over.
We aren't just talking about the past. Let's look at modern India,
During the period of Atkin's massive study,
which was spanning from 1983 to 1988.
right, look at the numbers from this era.
Okay, hit me.
Over 50% of children in these populations are moderately to severely malnourished.
50%. Half the kids.
Half. Their physical growth is permanently stunted.
That is a disaster.
Furthermore, 64% of families fail to meet the basic calorie intake line.
And that line is the absolute minimum energy required.
Yes, to sustain a healthy human body.
They are living on the extreme edge of endurance.
And yet, they still refuse to buy the most cost-effective calories.
They still refuse.
That is the invisible tragedy happening in plain sight. It's just wild.
Almost all of these starving families could easily meet their daily calorie needs.
They don't need a government bailout.
They don't need charity.
They could cross the survival line with the exact money they already have in their pockets right now.
Yes.
Okay, let's really unpack this.
Let's do it.
Because when I first read this data, my immediate reaction was, there has to be another explanation.
Of course. It sounds too crazy.
If they have the rupees in their pockets to hit the survival line,
Right.
and they are consciously bypassing the cheap local grain, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Are they just buying tastier food?
That's the common assumption.
Are they just tired of eating the exact same cheap millet every single day and want some variety?
It is entirely logical to assume they are just paying a premium for a better tasting dinner.
Right.
But they aren't paying for luxury.
Then what are they doing?
They are paying an invisible tax for something entirely different.
A cax.
They're literally draining their own life force to fund an obsession. But how do you actually prove that?
It's hard.
How do you prove human beings are completely irrational about food?
You need the right data.
How do you separate culture from just wanting a tastier meal?
Or from bad local supply chains, right?
Exactly.
To find the absolute truth, economists needed the ultimate, perfect, natural experiment.
And David Atkin found it.
He did. He tracked an unbelievably massive data set.
240,000 households across India.
240,000. But the genius of his methodology wasn't just the sheer volume of data.
Right.
It was this specific trap he set for rational economic theory.
He specifically compared local residents with migrants from other states.
Who moved into the exact same village.
Think about how brilliant this is.
It's perfect.
If you just compare a rich family in a city to a poor family in a rural area, there are too many variables.
Way too many. Different markets, different prices.
Different access to resources.
But Atkin surveyors went out and interviewed groups of 10 families living practically next door to each other.
Living next door. They walk down the exact same dirt road.
They buy from the exact same market stalls.
They face the exact same prices for every single grain of rice.
And every single pinch of spice.
So they are in the exact same environment.
This isolates the environment completely.
So if human beings are rational calculating machines...
Logic dictates a very simple, unavoidable outcome.
Right. A starving migrant who just moved to the village.
And a starving local who has lived there forever.
They should buy the exact same cheap survival food.
Survival is a math equation.
You have limited money?
You need maximum calories.
The local knows the cheapest food.
The migrant sees the cheapest food.
They should both buy it.
But the data delivered a creepy, logic-defying reversal.
Even starving to the bone.
They insist on a losing trade.
Facing identical prices in the exact same market.
Migrants get 1.6% fewer calories for every single rupee they spend.
Compared to their local neighbors.
They are bleeding energy.
Just throwing it away.
Now, a skeptic might try to tear this down.
Sure, a skeptic might say, well, maybe these migrants are relatively wealthy.
Right, maybe they move for a high-paying job.
So they don't care about maximizing calories per rupee.
If I am a millionaire, I don't care if my imported caviar has terrible caloric efficiency.
Exactly. I am buying it for status, not survival.
But Atkin anticipated that skepticism.
And the data destroys that counterargument completely.
Totally destroys it. He isolated the absolute extreme poor.
He looked at families eating fewer than 1,850 calories a day,
These are people hovering near literal starvation.
where their bodies are beginning to break down muscle tissue just to keep their organs functioning.
Yeah, and what did these people on the brink of physiological collapse do?
Yeah, what did they do?
Even the absolute poorest families still pay this invisible tax. They
Well,
still throw away 1.6% of their potential survival energy.
just to avoid eating the local food.
Yes.
It's like someone struggling to pay rent, facing eviction tomorrow, and insisting on flying first class.
That's a great analogy.
But here, the currency isn't money.
No.
The currency is their own physical health.
They are paying this tax with their own flesh.
Which brings us to the core mystery. Why?
Why are they doing this?
This isn't a modern preference, is it?
Not at all. It's a 1,000-year-old obsession overriding the logic of life and death.
Let's look at the map.
Okay.
Let's look at two states with very similar prices.
Kerala and Punjab.
This is where we see how deeply this programming runs.
In both Kerala in the south and Punjab in the north, the market prices for rice and wheat are practically identical.
So a rational machine would eat a balanced mix of both.
Or just pick whichever one is slightly cheaper on any given day.
But Kerala eats 13 times more rice than wheat,
13 times.
and Punjab eats 10 times more wheat than rice.
That is an absolute dietary polarization.
It makes no economic sense.
And it happens because centuries of local agriculture turn into habit.
Hundreds of years ago, the land and the climate dictated the crop.
The crop dictated the daily meal.
And over generations, that habit hardened into culture.
It became inextricably linked to their identity.
So when these people migrate, they don't just pack their clothes.
No. They bring their hometown food culture to a new land, like a genetic code.
Like a genetic code. That is powerful.
They carry it with them everywhere,
And when they arrive in a new state,
where their beloved hometown crop is suddenly incredibly expensive because it has to be imported.
they don't adapt.
They do not. They would rather eat less food overall than eat an unfamiliar, cheap local food.
So what does this all mean?
They treat their local recipes like a religion.
Like a religion, you wouldn't just abandon your deeply held religious beliefs simply because the tax rate went up.
Exactly. They view their ancestral diet the exact same way.
Nostalgia has a price tag.
And the poor are paying it in calories.
The data proves this link completely. Atkin actually looked inside the shopping carts,
Of these 240,000 households,
which is insane to think about.
he tracked 169 different food items. And what he found was that a migrant's shopping cart in their new village,
Looks almost exactly like the shopping carts back in their hometown.
it is a ghost of their past.
The spices, the specific grains, the unique vegetables.
The migrant meticulously recreates their old world, item by item.
I get wanting a taste of home. We all experience that.
Of course.
I moved to a new city once, and I paid triple the price for a specific brand of coffee from my hometown.
Just for the comfort of it.
Exactly, just to feel normal.
But you weren't starving.
True.
You were paying a financial premium for comfort, which is a luxury.
Right, it didn't hurt my survival.
The difference here is that this stubborn correlation directly causes a severe calorie drain.
When a migrant moves to a place where their hometown foods happen to be astronomically expensive,
Disaster strikes.
you'd think your stomach rumbling would drown out your nostalgia.
You would think the physical pain of biological hunger would eventually override the psychological need for cultural comfort.
But it doesn't.
When home habits clash with extreme local prices, human rationality completely breaks down.
It turns to dust.
We talked about the average tax being 1.6%.
But for some migrants, it gets much, much worse.
Let's look at migrants whose hometown foods are severely disadvantaged by local prices.
These are people who move to the absolute worst possible place for their specific dietary identity.
The market in their new home brutally punishes their culture.
For these people, the calorie tax doesn't just exist,
It doubles.
spiking to a brutal 3.33%.
Now, you might hear a number like 3.33% and think, okay, that's just a statistical rounding error.
It sounds small.
It is not small.
No.
This is vital energy. This 3.33% represents the crucial energy a manual laborer needs to safely finish a grueling shift under the sun.
Oh, wow.
It represents the essential nutritional margin for a toddler's brain and body to develop normally instead of being stunted.
This isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet.
Not at all.
This is poor people, literally cutting flesh from their own bodies to maintain their identity.
They are starving themselves just to feel like they are still home.
But there is one specific household dynamic that makes this infinitely worse. Right?
Yes. Here is the most suffocating finding in the entire study.
If only one person in the house is a migrant, the damage is somewhat contained.
Right. Say the husband is a local and the wife is a migrant from far away.
Or vice versa.
There is a natural compromise that occurs.
The local partner brings some local, cheap, efficient food into the household mix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The cultural echo chamber is broken.
And the calorie tax is kept relatively low.
But if both the husband and the wife migrate together with the exact same hometown obsession,
They lock the family in a cultural prison.
there is no local voice in the house to break the spell.
They just reinforce each other's nostalgia.
For these dual migrant families with disadvantaged dietary preferences,
The calorie loss skyrockets to a shocking 7%.
7.
Imagine taking 7% of your meals every single week and just scraping them off your plate into the trash.
Imagine doing that while your children are sitting right next to you crying because their stomachs are empty.
That is the raw, terrifying power of culture.
Is 7% really that big of a deal?
For a family on the edge, it is the exact boundary between life and death.
Within this highly disadvantaged dual migrant group, a staggering 58% of families fail to meet basic nutritional standards.
More than half of them are officially, physically failing.
Now let's do the counterfactual math.
What would happen if they just stopped?
If these families simply dropped their cultural obsession, woke up tomorrow, and bought the exact same local bundle of food as the neighbors living next door to them,
Their malnutrition rate would instantly plummet by 11 percentage points.
it would drop from 58% to 47% overnight.
You wouldn't need a higher salary.
They wouldn't need government aid.
Just by changing their minds and changing their recipes, they could pull themselves back from the brink.
But they refuse to do it.
They consistently choose the culture over the calories.
That is staggering.
But as humans, our natural defense mechanism is to want to excuse them.
Sure, we want to say, surely they just don't know any better,
They
right?
just moved.
Mhm.
They don't know what the cheap local staples are yet.
We desperately want to believe this is merely an information problem.
Because if it's just an information problem, we can fix it.
We can print flyers,
We can do education campaigns.
but the data mercilessly crushes this illusion.
You would think after a year you figure out the local market.
You would. But Atkin's data shows that even after living in a new state for 10 years,
Or even 20 years.
they stubbornly continue to pay this tax.
Time does not cure culture.
2 decades.
2 decades of walking through the same market, seeing the cheap local food every single day.
And willfully walking past it to buy the expensive hometown food.
Okay, then what about education?
Ah.
You might think, maybe they are just uneducated.
Maybe they literally cannot do the math to realize how much they are losing.
Right. You would assume educated people, people who can read and calculate, are smarter about this.
You would assume wrong.
The data drops an even more anti-common sense fact.
It shows that if the head of the household is literate, the cultural tax they pay actually goes up.
Wait, it goes up.
Yes.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Education doesn't make them more rational.
It makes them more fiercely protective of their identity.
We assume literacy makes you a better calculator of utility.
But what literacy actually does is connect you deeper to your heritage.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can read the hometown newspapers sent by relatives.
You can read your traditional scriptures.
You have a stronger, more articulated grasp of your cultural identity.
So they use their literacy to build a higher, more fortified wall around their culture.
They are smarter. And because they are smarter, they are better at starving themselves for their beliefs.
Which forces us to ask, who exactly is enforcing this identity inside the home?
Right. Who is driving this slow-motion car crash?
Maybe it's a skill issue.
I mean, if I moved to a completely foreign country, I literally wouldn't know how to prepare their staple crops.
I wouldn't know how to cook them without ruining them.
That is a highly logical theory.
But the truth is incredibly cruel.
Let's talk about the gender dynamics here.
In India, wives traditionally do the cooking.
The kitchen is their domain.
So if this were simply a technical cooking skill issue,
A migrant wife moving to a new region would cause the biggest calorie loss.
because she wouldn't know how to prepare the cheap local grain.
So she would be forced to buy the expensive imported grain she knows how to cook.
But the data shows the exact opposite.
The exact opposite.
The numbers reveal the deep power mechanism of patriarchy.
When only the wife is a migrant, the tax is relatively low.
Around 1%.
She adapts.
She learns.
She figures out how to cook what the local environment demands to keep the family fed.
But look at what happens when only the husband is a migrant.
He brings a local wife into his home.
The wife is a local. She already possesses all the skills to cook the cheap, highly efficient local food perfectly.
But the tax nearly doubles to 2%.
It's not about who holds the spoon.
It's about who holds the power.
The man's cultural preference dictates the survival of the entire family.
He controls the household budget,
He comes home from work and demands the taste of his childhood.
regardless of how wildly expensive it is in this new region.
And because of the patriarchal structure, his nostalgia completely overrides his family's nutrition.
That is infuriating to think about.
It really is.
But is this just an Indian phenomenon?
People always ask that.
Is this just a quirk of one specific country's history or social structure?
Absolutely not. This isn't just India's story.
The whole world is bleeding because we constantly ignore the power of culture.
Look at the African continent.
During the devastating famines of the late 20th century, the world mobilized,
Millions of people were starving.
and the international community sent highly nutritious yellow corn.
Shipments of it. Mountains of it.
And Africa rejected
It's
it.
starving people. Rejecting life-saving food.
Okay.
In many parts of sub-Saharan Africa, there is a deep, unshakable cultural obsession with white corn.
White corn is considered human food,
Yellow corn is culturally categorized as animal feed.
so the people looked at the highly nutritious yellow corn, saw it as degrading to their human identity.
And chose hunger.
This is exactly why the famous Green Revolution suffered a catastrophic failure in sub-Saharan Africa.
Scientists engineered miracle crops, high-yield wheat, rice, and yellow corn that successfully ended hunger in massive parts of Asia and Latin America.
But when they brought this miracle yellow corn to Africa,
It failed completely.
why? Because the scientists engineered a crop that the locals culturally despised.
We tried to solve a software problem, which is human culture, by throwing hardware at it, which is the biological food.
And it failed.
Millions suffered because the smartest experts in the world thought calories were just calories.
They focused entirely on the biology of the plant.
And completely ignored the psychology of the human.
This breaks everything we thought we knew about economics.
Rational economic man is dead.
Yeah, the textbooks are wrong.
We always assumed humans were perfectly rational calculators.
We built our entire modern global system on the assumption that if you give a human a cheaper, more efficient way to survive,
They will automatically take it.
this study proves that is a complete fantasy.
We think we are calculators.
We think we are spreadsheets constantly optimizing for longevity.
We are actually just walking, talking history books.
Culture isn't just a hobby.
It isn't just the clothes you wear on a holiday or the songs you sing.
Culture is the absolute lowest level base code of human behavior.
It runs deeper than hunger.
And to protect this code, humans will completely override their own biological instinct to survive.
What does this mean for our future?
Today, we stand on the edge of a massive technological explosion.
But we are totally blind.
We have artificial intelligence that can calculate perfect nutritional outputs.
We have advanced global supply chains that can move food anywhere on the planet in a matter of hours.
We are actively trying to solve poverty and hunger with cold, perfect algorithms.
But algorithms do not understand cultural gravity.
If we just use AI to ship the most biologically efficient calories to the most desperate people on Earth,
The tech will fail. The people will reject it.
are we just building a higher-tech version of the 1943 Bengal tragedy?
It's a huge risk.
Will perfect AI-generated food rot in futuristic climate-controlled warehouses while people starve right outside the automated doors?
Simply because the hyper-efficient nutrient block doesn't taste like their grandmother's cooking.
Yes, because the algorithm didn't factor in a 1,000-year-old obsession.
If we build systems for rational machines instead of deeply flawed, culturally bound humans,
Those systems will collapse.
absolutely.
You weren't starving in 1980s India. You aren't in a famine.
But you are human.
You run on the exact same base code.
So what invisible taxes are you paying in your own life?
What logical, healthy, or financial choices are you sabotaging right now simply because that's not how my people do it?
Are you pushing away a life preserver simply because it's the wrong color?
It is a terrifying mirror to hold up to ourselves.
The water is rising. The preserver is right there.
We just have to question our own base code before we drown.
It's the only way to survive the real deep waters of our own psychology.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Don't let your culture pull you under.